Good morning. Now, let's have a brief discussion about the moon. If you do a quick Google search, you'll see that we're told that the moon is 238,900 miles away from the Earth. But this is contradictory to some other evidence because we have an ex-president who said that we can't go beyond low Earth orbit.
Unlike the previous program, we are setting a course with specific and achievable milestones. Early in the next decade, a set of crewed flights will test and prove the systems required for exploration beyond low Earth orbit.
Also, we've had multiple NASA employees on video saying the same thing, alluding to the fact that we cannot go beyond low Earth orbit.
As we get further away from Earth, we'll pass through the Van Allen belts, an area of dangerous radiation. But Orion has protection. Shielding will be put to the test as the vehicle cuts through the waves of radiation. Sensors aboard will record radiation levels for scientists to study. We must solve these challenges before we send people through this region of space.
But if you actually do another Google search to see the distance of low Earth orbit, you'll realize that low Earth orbit is only somewhere around 1,200 miles away from the surface of the Earth. So, if in actuality, they haven't really been beyond low Earth orbit, and the moon seems to be 238,000 miles away, as we're told, I wouldn't call myself a brilliant mathematician, but those numbers don't really add up. Now, do they? Now, a second thing that we've been told about the moon is that NASA has actually been there. I'm a little skeptical about this due to a few statements that I've seen online. For instance, there's this one guy who actually comes out and says we don't have the technology to go back to the moon and that they've destroyed it.
I'd go to the moon in a nanosecond. The problem is we don't have the technology to do that anymore. We used to, but we destroyed that technology, and it's a painful process to build it back again.
Also, there have been pictures of a prominent film director by the name of Stanley Kubrick. He was pretty popular near the end of the 20th century. He was actually photographed where it seems to be walking between the sets of studios with some pretty prominent figures in the astronaut community. Also, I recently saw a picture surface of another gentleman who seemed to be walking away from the set of what looks like the moon landing site. And then let us not forget about this piece of cinematic mastery.
It's one small step for man, one giant leap. So, I guess you want to do it again. Okay. Sorry.
These things lend credence to the idea that NASA hasn't actually been to the moon. Now, a third thing that we're told about the moon is that the moon is actually a solid object. Well, here, let me show you some video from yesterday that I recorded. So here in Tacoma, it's about 5:15 in the afternoon. And along the lines of this moon being a solid object, I want you to ask yourself, how many solid objects can you actually see through? The moon seems to be made of some sort of translucent substance and goes through these phases where you can only see, or where you can actually see blue sky behind it during the day and you can see black sky behind it at night. Also, not to mention, we've only seen one side of the moon for all recorded history, but we probably already covered that. But as far as this thing being a solid object, come on, being able to see through it, that's kind of a giveaway in my opinion, but I'll let you call it. Seriously, because we just saw the supposed footage, the evidence that there was actually a lunar landing, and it looked to be a solid surface that they landed on. We've also seen moon rock that also seems to be pretty solid. But at the same time, that same moon rock that we're told is actually from the moon. If you hold that in the air, if you toss it up in the sky, I don't know if you're going to be able to see through it. So, quick recap. They tell us that the moon's 238,000 miles away. They tell us that NASA's actually been to the moon. And they tell us that the moon is a solid object. Tell me what you think in the comments section. That's all I got for this video. Thanks for tuning in. Be sure to like and subscribe for more content. Be sure to hit the bell to get notification whenever I upload a new video. Be sure to link up with myself and the crew over at Flat Life or the Future of Flat Earth on Facebook. As always, be good to each other, take care of yourself, and stay flat. I'll see you in the next video. Thank you.